Yeah, today's a Jeep day. We're going to talk about some of the problems of swapping an axle, more specifically F250 axles into a YJ. It's a puzzle. It's always a puzzle. Anyway, this here's my beast. It's a 91 YJ. These are 78 F250 axles. It's a 44 front and a 60 rear, 8 lug. And like literally, I should have been done with this so long ago. And every time I turn around, there's a new problem. It's always something. And I'm like elbow deep in it today, so my shop is a complete mess. Don't mind it. Anyway, let me show you some of the problems I'm having. So I'm trying to get this F250 axle in my YJ and it's not working out so well. I gotta modify a lot. Let me show you. So the spring pins, the holes on here and over there are 31.5 on this axle, but my frame width is 30.5. So I had to inboard these holes a 1/2 inch, so I welded them shut on both sides and then re-drilled them inboard. Problem I'm running into is first I had to cut this away because the spring moved over, and then the U-bolts weren't really wanting to sit here well, so I clearanced a slot here and here and a little bit on the either side of this casting, somewhere just for them to sit. Now originally these came with, they didn't use U-bolts, so the guy that tried to use this axle before, he had a slot there, but now I have to move it over to about a 1/2 inch. So I had to cut that out. And then lastly, on the back side, there's this webbing and there was this hole that the U-bolt went through, but it was, again, I moved everything over. So I'm just drilling it out with like a 1-inch drill bit, hoping that when I get over here that it's enough clearance. And if not, I will finish the job with old trusty here. I'm so ready to get this done, and there's just so much work left to do. The steering's a puzzle still. The shocks are only, the towers are only tacked in and everything. Like, there's just loads and loads and loads of work. Anyway, over on this side, those two little orange dots are where the U-bolts need to go through with me having moved it over. So I either have to cut the corners off, which is gonna really weaken that side of the perch, or just put a new perch on. So I bought a new perch, but this one only has a 1/2 inch rise from the tube to the surface, and the smallest one I could find was 3/4. So basically what I'm gonna do is put a 3-inch hole saw on there and cut a new slot in that new perch so that it is shorter, because I don't want to use like a spacer or a shim on this side to make it match, and I don't want a 1/4 inch lean either. So yeah, I gotta cut that off and then modify the new one and weld that on, and then I should finally be able to put the leaf springs in and maybe even get this thing off of jack stands. So quickly, some other puzzles I'm working on. This is the mount for my traction bar. And I've built a little mount to go on the bottom of the skid plate here, which I'll show you in a minute. This is gonna be my upper bar, and I've only got it tacked on there at this point. Where'd the lower one go? Oh, there's the lower one right there. That one's already built. It's already got the link and everything. Where did you go? Can't find the piece. No. Where did I put it? And this, boys and girls, is why you should keep a clean garage, because I can never find anything that I'm looking for. Oh, I found it. So this goofy ass contraption is gonna get welded to the bottom of the skid plate, and there's a 45 in the back of the skid plate, so those match. Now it's offset because the drain plug for the transfer case is like right here. If I had like centered this on there, like if I had centered this on the bracket, then this edge would have stuck out farther and blocked me from being able to drain it. So I should be able to get full weld around here, maybe even plug weld those and get weld up the sides of these. From there, this gets like a shackle, and then that heim joint hooks to the top of the shackle up here somewhere, and that way when your axle moves, it can rotate this way. So yeah, again, this Jeep is nothing but just puzzles and problems. Okay, I did an AW4 tranny swap like 3-4 years ago, but just now I decided, oh, I'm gonna upgrade and get this Barnes 4-wheel drive skid plate. Well, guess what? that transfer case sticks out farther than it, so I had to cut that out. And then up front, the pan stuck down too far, so I had to cut that out. And of course, that's exactly where that part I just showed you has to mount. Like right here, you can see one of my marks, and there's the drain plug. So now you can see why I kind of built that thing so goofy. I've got one brace across right there, and there's another one like right here, and then one on the other side. Just more puzzles. But yeah, I'm happy to be as far along as I am, but like, my God, this should have been done like a month ago. And every single time I turn around, it's a problem. Okay, so hopefully this thing is starting to make a little more sense. That is gonna go straight up there on there, sit on the bottom of the skid plate. I'm hoping for my angle of the shackle to be tilted back about like that. It actually is supposed to match the angle between your two mounting points back there, which would be roughly right in there-ish. So we'll see how well I did on my length cut. I have not even tacked this yet, but it's like a press fit. I don't know that I'd even be able to get it back out of there, honestly. Now you can see I've got my second bar mounted up on the outside of the tab, and that way when this is up in place, I can kind of lay it up here beside to kind of figure out where I want to mark it and cut it and join it. Like, I want it pretty close to the end as possible, so I may end up slicing it right there or something so that I get a nice triangle. Obviously, once I lift the bottom one up, this is going to end up, this is actually longer, but it just doesn't look that way because of the way it's sitting. So yeah, fun times. So if you want to see me finish the old shit box here and get this thing up and going, sub to the channel. Lots more to come. Like the video, and I'll see you next time.